Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're tackling something that's probably on a lot of your minds,
Mm.
especially as you approach retirement. How do you protect your hard-earned savings? We've got a stack of articles and research here all about gold IRAs and the role precious metals can play in building a resilient retirement plan.
It's interesting. We often hear about growing wealth for retirement. But what about preserving what you've already built? That's where things like gold IRAs come in, especially in times when you're worried about inflation or market volatility.
Right, because imagine working your whole life,
Yeah.
diligently saving, and then suddenly your nest egg doesn't stretch as far due to rising prices. That's the fear, isn't it? That inflation will chip away at your buying power just when you need it most.
Absolutely. And that's one of the key reasons people are turning to gold IRAs. It's not about getting rich quick, it's about creating a safety net. Now, some people might think gold IRAs, that's only for the super wealthy, but that's a misconception. They're accessible to retirees at all income levels. Even starting small can be a valuable step.
Okay, so let's break down what a gold IRA actually is. It sounds kind of mysterious, like something out of an Indiana Jones movie.
Well, it's not quite an ancient artifact, but it does involve holding something tangible. Unlike a regular IRA that holds stocks and bonds, a gold IRA lets you hold physical precious metals like gold bars or silver coins.
So it's not just numbers on a screen. You're actually holding a piece of gold that represents your future. That's pretty cool. But how does the whole process work?
It's actually more straightforward than you might think. You open an account with a specialized custodian, fund it, purchase your chosen metals, and they're securely stored in an IRS-approved depository.
So it's like having a trusted advisor who specifically handles this part of your retirement portfolio, someone who ensures everything is above board and properly stored.
Exactly. Now, one of the biggest draws of a gold IRA is its potential to act as a hedge against inflation. Like how the price of bread always seems to be going up.
Ugh, don't remind me. I remember when a loaf cost $1. These days, it's like you need a loan just to buy groceries.
That's inflation eroding the purchasing power of your money. But gold tends to hold its value, sometimes even appreciate when inflation rises. So while your dollar might buy you less bread over time, the gold in your IRA could help you maintain your standard of living in retirement.
That makes sense. But haven't there been periods where gold hasn't kept pace with inflation? What should investors be aware of in those situations?
That's a great question. And it highlights why a gold IRA should be part of a diversified portfolio,
Yeah,
not your entire retirement plan. It's about balance. While gold has historically performed well during inflationary periods, there are no guarantees. That's why it's crucial to consider other assets and strategies as well.
so it's like building a strong foundation with different materials, not just relying on one type of brick.
Exactly. Diversification is key. Now, another point to consider is that gold IRAs aren't just about gold. You can diversify within the IRA itself by holding other precious metals like silver, platinum, and palladium.
Wait, so my gold IRA could have more than just gold in it. Tell me more about these other metals.
Each metal has its own unique characteristics. Silver, for example, is often seen as a more volatile investment than gold, which can mean bigger price swings, but also the potential for higher returns. It's a bit more of a risk-reward scenario.
That makes sense. So silver might be a good option for someone who's comfortable with a bit more market fluctuation
Yeah.
and is looking for potential growth.
Exactly. Silver also has diverse industrial applications, which can further impact its price. So unlike gold, whose value is mainly tied to its precious metal status, silver's price can be influenced by factors like demand for electronics or solar panels.
That adds a whole other layer of complexity, but also potential to the equation. So I've got gold for stability, silver for potential growth.
Hmm?
What about platinum and palladium? Where do they fit in?
Platinum is interesting. It's often associated with luxury goods,
Yep.
but it also plays a vital role in various industries, especially in catalytic converters for cars.
Mm.
This high industrial demand, combined with its rarity, makes it more expensive than both gold and silver.
So platinum might be a good option for someone looking for an exclusive investment within their precious metals portfolio, one that could potentially yield higher returns, but at a higher price point.
That's a good way to put it. Now, palladium is similar to platinum in its applications, especially in those catalytic converters. In fact, it's sometimes even more effective than platinum, leading to a surge in demand. This, coupled with limited supply, has driven its price up significantly in recent years.
So palladium is like the dark horse of the precious metals world, quietly gaining value and potentially offering substantial returns. It seems like each of these metals has its own personality and potential role to play in a diversified portfolio.
Exactly, and that's the beauty of a well-structured gold IRA that includes various precious metals. You're creating a balanced team where each member contributes to the overall strength and resilience of your retirement plan.
Okay, so we've got a precious metals dream team. But with all this talk about potential benefits, I have to ask, are there any downsides or risks we should be aware of? It almost sounds too good to be true.
That's a crucial question. While precious metals can be a great way to diversify and hedge against certain risks, they're not a magic bullet. It's important to remember that the prices of precious metals, just like any commodity, can fluctuate.
Right. No investment is ever completely risk-free. Even gold can go down in value.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely. Global demand,
Mm.
industrial use, and even geopolitical events can all influence their prices. That's why we keep coming back to diversification. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, even if it's a shiny precious metal basket.
So a gold IRA should be one piece of a well-rounded retirement plan,
Yeah.
not the entire puzzle.
Precisely. It's about finding the right balance that aligns with your individual goals, risk tolerance, and overall financial strategy. Now, when considering a gold IRA, one of the biggest mistakes people make is jumping in without doing the research. You need to understand the ins and outs of these accounts,
Yeah.
the different metals, and the potential risks and rewards.
So don't just blindly follow trends or get swayed by flashy marketing.
Exactly. Take your time. Educate yourself and seek guidance from reputable sources and financial professionals. And be wary of scams. Unfortunately, the popularity of gold IRAs has attracted some bad actors who try to take advantage of people.
Oh, that's unsettling.
Yeah.
What are some red flags to look out for? How can we protect ourselves from these scams?
Be wary of anyone promising unrealistic returns or pressuring you into a quick decision, high-pressure sales tactics, hidden fees, or claims that sound too good to be true. Those are all major red flags.
So it's about common sense and a healthy dose of skepticism. If something feels off, it probably is.
Exactly. Remember, you're dealing with your hard-earned retirement savings, so it's worth taking the time to find a trustworthy provider who will put your interests first. Don't hesitate to ask questions, check reviews, and verify credentials before making any commitments.
This is really helpful advice. It seems like choosing the right gold IRA provider is just as important as choosing the metals themselves. What are some key things to look for when evaluating potential providers?
Reputation is paramount. Look for a company with a solid track record, positive customer reviews, and a reputation for transparency and ethical practices. They should also offer a wide selection of precious metals to choose from, so you can diversify effectively within your IRA.
So variety is important,
Yeah,
but so is knowing what you're paying for, right? What about fees?
absolutely. Pay close attention to their fee structure, as this can significantly impact your returns. Look for competitive and transparent pricing, and make sure you understand all the associated costs, including storage fees and transaction fees.
It's easy to get excited about investing, but those fees can really add up if you're not careful.
Exactly. And finally, prioritize excellent customer service. You want a provider who is responsive, knowledgeable, and genuinely invested in helping you achieve your retirement goals.
It's like having a partner, a trusted guide in the world of precious metals, someone who's there to answer your questions and make the whole process feel less daunting.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's about finding a provider you feel comfortable working with, someone who understands your unique needs and can help you navigate the intricacies of gold IRAs and precious metals investing.
This has been incredibly informative. We've covered so much ground, from the basics of gold IRAs to the nuances of diversifying with different precious metals. But I feel like we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore.
You're absolutely right. And that's the exciting part. There's always more to learn and discover when it comes to securing your financial future.
Welcome back to our deep dive into gold IRAs and the potential of precious metals. Before we dig in, I just want to say how much I appreciate your thoughtful questions. You're really engaging with these concepts, which is so important.
Well, I have to admit, this whole topic has really captured my attention. I always thought retirement planning was all about stocks and bonds, but the idea of holding something tangible, something with historical value like gold, it's a whole different perspective. I completely agree. And speaking of perspectives, before we went on our little tangent, you were about to ask about something really important. How do you actually choose the right mix of precious metals for your gold IRA?
Oh, right. With all these options, gold, silver, platinum, palladium. It feels like a daunting decision. Is there a magic formula or a set of rules to follow?
I wish there was a simple answer, but the ideal mix truly depends on your individual situation. It's like tailoring a suit. It
Yeah.
needs to fit your risk tolerance, your financial goals, and your overall outlook.
Okay, so let's say I'm someone who prioritizes stability above all else. I want to protect my savings from inflation and market volatility, even if it means sacrificing some potential growth. Would gold be the primary focus in my precious metals portfolio?
That's a great example, and yes, in that case. A larger allocation towards gold makes perfect sense. Gold has a long-standing reputation as a safe haven asset, tending to hold its value during economic uncertainty. It's like the anchor of your precious metals team.
That makes sense. But what if I'm a bit more adventurous? I understand the risks, but I'm also open to the possibility of higher returns. Would silver be a good addition to the mix?
Absolutely. Silver, with its higher volatility, can offer greater potential for growth, although it also carries greater risk. If you're comfortable with the possibility of larger price swings, silver could be a valuable component.
So it's like adding a bit of spice to the recipe,
Yeah,
knowing it might make things a little more unpredictable, but potentially more rewarding as well.
exactly. And remember, you can adjust the proportions based on your comfort level. For example, you might start with a core allocation of gold, say 60%, and then sprinkle in some silver, maybe 20%, and even a dash of platinum or palladium for further diversification.
Wow, this is starting to feel like a culinary adventure.
Mm.
We're creating a custom blend of precious metals, each with its own unique flavor and potency. But with all this talk about individual preferences and risk tolerance,
Yeah.
is there a general guideline for how much of my overall retirement portfolio should be allocated to precious metals?
That's a great question. And again, it varies based on individual circumstances. However, many financial advisors suggest that 5% to 15% of your retirement portfolio could be allocated to precious metals as part of a diversified strategy.
So it's not about going all in on gold or silver. It's about strategically incorporating them as part of a larger plan.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot where precious metals can contribute to your overall financial well-being without exposing you to undue risk. Now, I want to reiterate something really important that we touched on earlier. Choosing the right gold IRA provider is just as crucial as choosing the metals themselves.
Right. Talked about red flags and doing your research. But what are some specific criteria we should be looking for in a provider?
First and foremost, experience matters. Look for a provider with a proven track record in the precious metals industry, one that has successfully navigated various market cycles. You don't want to entrust your savings to a company that's just jumping on the latest trend.
So stability and longevity are key. What else?
Transparency is crucial. Make sure the provider clearly outlines all fees and costs associated with opening and maintaining a gold IRA, including storage fees, transaction fees, and any administrative expenses. Avoid companies with hidden charges or convoluted fee structures.
Transparency builds trust. And trust is essential when dealing with something as important as retirement savings.
Absolutely. Another key aspect is storage options. A reputable provider will offer both allocated and segregated storage for your precious metals.
Hold on, what's the difference between those?
Allocated storage means your metals are specifically identified as yours, held separately from the provider's own inventory. Segregated storage takes it a step further, ensuring your metals are stored in a completely separate vault away from other clients' holdings.
So segregated storage offers an even higher level of security and peace of mind.
Exactly. And while it might come with a slightly higher cost, many investors believe it's worth the added protection.
That makes sense. So we've got experience, transparency, and storage options. Anything else we should keep in mind?
Yes, a crucial factor is the provider's buyback program. Make sure they have a clear and straightforward process for selling your precious metals when you need to access your funds. You don't want to be stuck with assets you can't easily liquidate.
That's a great point. So it's not just about buying gold and silver. It's about having a reliable exit strategy as well.
Precisely. And finally, don't underestimate the importance of customer service. Look for a provider that's responsive, knowledgeable, and genuinely invested in helping you navigate the world of precious metals and gold IRAs. Remember, this is a long-term decision, so you want to feel confident and supported every step of the way.
It's like having a partner,
Mm.
someone who's there to guide you and answer your questions,
Yeah.
not just a faceless corporation.
That's a great way to put it. Now, with all that in mind, I think it's time to address a question that often comes up when people are considering precious metals for retirement. How do gold IRAs actually perform compared to traditional investments like stocks and bonds?
That's a great question. I'm curious to hear your insights on this. After all, we're talking about securing our financial future.
Yeah.
So understanding how different investments have performed historically is crucial.
Absolutely. And while past performance is never a guarantee of future results, it can provide valuable context and insights. So let's dive into the historical performance of gold, silver, and other precious metals and see how they've stacked up against traditional asset classes.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been unpacking all the ins and outs of gold IRAs and precious metals, and I'm honestly surprised by how much depth there is to this topic.
It's fascinating, isn't it? There's this whole world of financial strategies that most people don't even know exists. And it's all about finding what works best for your individual needs and goals.
Exactly. And speaking of goals, I think we've been focusing a lot on the financial aspects of retirement planning.
Right.
But there's also this emotional side, right? The peace of mind, the sense of security. How does a gold IRA fit into that picture?
That's a really insightful observation. Retirement is a huge life transition, and it's natural to feel a mix of emotions: excitement, anticipation, maybe even some anxiety about the unknown.
Absolutely. And for many people, their retirement savings represent more than just money. It's their life's work, their dreams for the future. So knowing that a portion of those savings is backed by something tangible, something with historical value like gold, I can see how that could provide a sense of comfort.
Precisely. Imagine holding a gold coin in your hand. It's a tangible representation of your efforts to secure your future. It's not subject to the whims of the stock market or the fluctuations of digital currencies. It's a physical reminder of your commitment to your financial well-being.
It's almost like an anchor, a source of stability in a world that can feel increasingly unpredictable.
And beyond the tangible aspect, there's the historical context. Gold has been a store of value for centuries, weathering countless economic storms. Knowing that you're aligning your strategy with a tradition of wealth preservation that spans generations, that can be incredibly reassuring.
It's like tapping into a legacy of financial wisdom.
Exactly. And that sense of continuity can be especially powerful when you're navigating a major life change like retirement.
This is all making me think about how we often frame retirement planning in terms of growth and returns. But maybe it's just as important to think about preservation and peace of mind.
I couldn't agree more. It's about finding a balance between those aspirations. And a gold IRA diversified with precious metals can be a valuable tool in achieving that balance.
Well said. As we wrap up this deep dive, is there a final thought you'd like to leave our listeners with? Something to ponder as they continue their exploration of this fascinating topic?
I'd say this: knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your financial future. The more you understand about different investment strategies, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions that align with your unique vision for retirement.
That's a perfect note to end on. It's been a truly enlightening journey exploring this topic with you today. I feel like I've gained valuable insights that I can apply to my own retirement planning.
And remember, the journey doesn't end here. Keep asking questions, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the world of financial knowledge. The more you know, the more empowered you'll be to create the future you desire.
And on that note, we'll sign off for today. Until next time, keep seeking, keep learning,